While I was out buying milk, Karen changed my bedroom lock, moved all my belongings to the dusty garage, and threw a chaotic party for her toddler in my room. When I confronted her, she smirked and said, "You're young, sleep on the couch." Now I'm stuck, fuming, with nowhere to sleep tonight. What a mess. All right, buckle up. This is the most exhausting, emotionally draining nonsense I've ever dealt with in my life, and it all starts with me trying to do a nice thing. Last year, I inherited a small, two-bedroom house from my grandma. Nothing fancy, but it's cozy, has a decent backyard, and most importantly, it's mine. I spent months fixing it up, repainting, reflooring, even learning how to install light fixtures from YouTube. I finally had a space that felt like home. Enter my aunt. Let's call her Tammy. Tammy is my mom's younger sister. She's always been the dramatic one in the family. You know, the kind who somehow turns every family barbecue into a soap opera. She's got a 3-year-old kid, and for context, her parenting style is no rules, all vibes. Tammy's chaos was a family legend. She'd show up to gatherings with a new boyfriend every year, each one more questionable than the last. One Thanksgiving, she brought a guy who tried to sell us all timeshares over mashed potatoes. Her son, Liam, was a whirlwind of energy, adorable but unchecked, often leaving a trail of crumbs or glitter in his wake. I once caught him pouring soda into a potted plant at a family reunion, while Tammy called it exploring nature. Her life was a revolving door of apartments, jobs, and drama, and I should have seen the warning signs when she called me that day, voice trembling with crocodile tears. Anyway, Tammy calls me one day in tears. Says her lease is up, her boyfriend left her, and she's got nowhere to go. I asked how long she'd need a place. She swore it'd be no more than 2 weeks tops. Against my better judgment, I said yes. I mean, she's family. I gave her the guest room. I cleared out the guest room, a small space with a twin bed and a thrift store lamp, even buying fresh sheets to make it welcoming. My mom warned me over coffee that Tammy's promises were as reliable as a paper umbrella in a storm, but I shrugged it off. 2 weeks, I thought. I could handle 2 weeks. I'd just finished polishing the hardwood floors and hanging new curtains, and I wasn't about to let family drama ruin my hard-earned peace. Or so I thought. First few days? Fine. She cooked dinner once, mac and cheese, bought me a scented candle, and said thanks at least 3 times. Then it started to shift. The shift was subtle at first, like a crack in a dam. Tammy left dishes piled in the sink, promising to clean them later. Liam's toys, plastic dinosaurs, squeaky balls, and a particularly annoying toy trumpet, began colonizing the living room. I'd come home from work to find my carefully arranged throw pillows tossed on the floor, replaced by a pile of stuffed animals. I tiptoed around my own house, dodging toys like landmines, telling myself it was temporary. I'd sip my coffee, stare at the chaos, and repeat. 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks. Then she started redecorating. Like, full-on moving furniture. She took my coffee table out of the living room because the baby kept bumping into it. She put up these bright, cartoon animal decals in the hallway. Then she started giving me suggestions on how to make the place more kid-friendly. I let it slide. That coffee table was a labor of love. A heavy oak piece I'd spent weeks sanding and staining, its warm grain gleaming under the living room light. Tammy didn't ask. She just dragged it to the garage, leaving ugly scuff marks on my floor. When I confronted her, she waved me off with, "It's just a table, chill." The cartoon decals were worse. Neon elephants and giraffes slapped on my sage-green hallway walls, clashing with everything I'd worked to create. Her suggestions came daily. Move the glass vases, get rid of sharp corners, maybe paint the kitchen yellow for cheer. I bit my lip, counting down the days. But then she started inviting people over. Like unannounced. A friend of hers came by with 2 kids, who proceeded to spill juice on my rug and use my wall as a crayon canvas. When I said something, she called me uptight. The friend, Carla, arrived unannounced on a Tuesday, her 2 kids tearing through my living room like tiny tornadoes. I came home to find purple juice stains on my cream rug, a splurge I'd agonized over buying, and crayon scribbles on the wall that looked like a modern art disaster. Tammy and Carla were sprawled on my couch, sipping iced coffee, while the kids ran wild. When I asked Tammy to supervise them, she rolled her eyes. "They're kids," she said. "You're so uptight about this house." I wanted to scream, but instead scrubbed the wall until my arms ached, the crayon smudges mocking me. Week 2, she starts dropping hints like, "Your room gets such good light, and it must be lonely sleeping in a big bed all by yourself." I laughed it off. My bedroom was my sanctuary, a queen bed with soft linens, a bookshelf stuffed with novels, and a desk where I journaled. The morning sun poured in, making it the warmest room in the house. Tammy's comments felt like probes, testing my defenses. "Such good light," she'd say, lingering by the door. I laughed, but my stomach churned. I started locking my bedroom door when I left, just in case. Then came the day. I left to go grocery shopping. Was gone less than 90 minutes. When I got back, my key still worked on the front door, but when I went to open my bedroom door, the knob was different. I tried it. Locked. I asked Tammy what happened. She said, and I quote, "Oh, I figured you'd be cool with it. The baby just wasn't sleeping well in the guest room, so I thought, hey, let's just swap. It's not a big deal. You can have the couch until we figure something out." She had moved everything out of my room. Bed, dresser, computer, books, tossed into the garage like yard sale leftovers. Even had the nerve to hang a baby's room sign on the door. I stood there, grocery bags slipping from my hands, staring at that glittery baby's room sign. My heart pounded as I pushed open the garage door to find my life in disarray. My computer teetering on a box, my bed frame bent, my signed books scattered on the dusty floor. It felt like a violation, like my home had been ripped away. Tammy sat on the couch, bouncing Liam on her knee, acting like she'd done me a favor. I wanted to yell, but my voice caught in my throat. And then, a few hours later, she invited friends over to see the new setup. Like it was her house. Carla returned with another friend, both gushing over the cute nursery. They munched on my chips, leaving crumbs on my couch, while Tammy played tour guide. "It's perfect for Liam," she said, as if I'd agreed to this. I retreated to the kitchen, gripping the counter, my mind racing. This wasn't just about a room. It was about her claiming my entire space, my life, as her own. Update 1, 48 hours later. I gave her a warning. Move out by Sunday, or I'm calling the cops. She tried to guilt trip me, said I was kicking a mother and child into the streets, and called my mom. Shockingly, my mom took my side. She drove over, saw the state of the house, and lost it on Tammy. They argued for an hour. Tammy cried, screamed, claimed I tricked her, and that she thought I was donating the house to the next generation. My mom, who'd spent years cleaning up Tammy's messes, was furious. She stormed in, saw the decals and the baby's room sign, and unleashed a tirade. "You think you can just take over?" she shouted. Tammy sobbed, claiming I'd promised her the house, a blatant lie. My mom helped me pack Tammy's stuff, clothes, toys, and an absurd number of kitchen gadgets she'd somehow accumulated. The argument echoed through the house, Liam watching wide-eyed from the corner. Tammy refused to leave until my mom threatened to post a video of her meltdown to the family group chat. That threat hit hard. Tammy's face went pale, and she started grabbing her things, muttering about betrayal. She left, but not before swiping 2 rolls of paper towels, my favorite gray hoodie from college, and my stash of movie night snacks. I watched her drive away, feeling a mix of relief and rage. Update 2, 1 week later. She came back, with a freaking U-Haul. I wish I was joking. Said she forgave me and had decided to give me another chance to be part of the family. Brought her stuff and started unloading it on the front lawn. Said I was lucky because she was willing to accept the smaller room this time. Like she was doing me a favor. I was watering my herb garden, the basil finally thriving, when the U-Haul rolled up. Tammy hopped out in a neon pink tracksuit, Liam trailing with a stuffed dinosaur. She started unloading boxes onto my lawn, waving like we were old pals. "I'm over it," she said. "We'll take the guest room." "You're welcome." I stood there, hose dripping, dumbfounded by her audacity. I told her if she didn't get off my property in 10 minutes, I was calling the cops. She screamed, "You're just like your father." Still no idea what that meant. Called me a baby hater, then stormed off, leaving a box of diapers and her toddler's tricycle in the driveway. That box sat there for 3 days before she finally came to get it. The red tricycle, its bell broken, became a lawn ornament. I thought about donating it, but I wanted Tammy to deal with the hassle. When she finally returned, she didn't apologize, just grabbed her stuff, muttered about family betrayal, and sped off. I stood in the driveway, shaking my head, wondering how one person could cause so much chaos. Finale, 3 months later. You'd think that was the end. Nope. Turns out, Tammy's been telling the entire family that I stole the house from her, that I manipulated Grandma into putting me in the will. She even said I faked documents. I had relatives texting me asking why I scammed a single mom. The rumors spread like wildfire. A cousin texted, asking if Grandma had promised Tammy the house. An uncle called, probing about why I'd kicked her out. Tammy's story painted me as a scheming villain who'd forged the will and left her homeless. It was infuriating, but pure Tammy, always the victim. So I got petty. I scanned and sent every single page of the notarized will to the family group chat. I even highlighted the part that literally says, "To my beloved grandchild, the house at 42, Maple Drive shall belong entirely and solely to them." The will was ironclad, notarized, and signed by Grandma's lawyer. I attached a photo of the signature page for good measure. The group chat went silent for a day, a miracle in our family. Then came apologies from cousins, a smug, "I told you so" from my mom, and a grudging, "Wow, Tammy" from a neutral aunt. Tammy didn't respond in the group chat, but she did post a Facebook status calling me a cold, corporate sellout. I work retail, by the way. She blocked me shortly after. Her Facebook rant was a masterpiece of vague accusations, something about millennial greed and family disloyalty. The corporate sellout jab was hilarious, considering I work at a bookstore, shelving novels for minimum wage. I didn't respond. The truth was out there. Since then, I've installed outdoor cameras, changed all my locks, and joined a local Facebook group called Tenants from Hell just to vent. The cameras caught a neighbor's cat knocking over my potted plants once, but they gave me peace of mind against Tammy's return. The new locks, complete with a keypad deadbolt, felt like a fortress. The Tenants from Hell group was a lifeline. I posted the Tammy saga anonymously, and the comments ranged from "You're a saint" to "I'd have called the cops sooner." Someone suggested turning it into a novel. I'm tempted. Oh, and I've now got a sign by my front door that says, "No, Tammy, you still can't live here." Might get it engraved in stone. The sign, bold black on white, was my petty triumph, custom made at a local shop. It sits by the doorbell, a daily reminder of my victory. Every glance at it feels like a small rebellion against Tammy's chaos. Life slowly returned to normal. I scrubbed the crayon off the walls, repainted the hallway to erase those garish decals, and turned the guest room into a reading nook with a comfy armchair and a stack of books. My herb garden flourished, the rosemary scent filling the air as I watered it. I added a bird feeder, and now cardinals visit every morning. Their chirp's a quiet soundtrack to my coffee. Tammy's shadow lingered, though. Word got around she'd moved in with a new boyfriend, some guy from a coffee shop who got her. I wished him luck. He'd need it. Liam, poor kid, was still caught in her whirlwind, and I hoped he'd find stability someday. Guilt tugged at me for kicking them out, but I reminded myself Tammy had crossed every line I'd drawn. The family group chat moved on to new dramas, but Tammy stayed quiet. My mom said she was licking her wounds, but I wasn't fooled. She'd be back with another scheme. I unfollowed her online and focused on my home. One night, sipping iced tea on my patio as the sunset glowed orange, I realized this house was more than walls. It was my stand, my sanctuary, my proof I could hold my ground. I'm planning a housewarming party for friends and family who had my back. I'll bake Grandma's lemon bars, play some music, and maybe show off the "No, Tammy" sign. This house is mine, and I'm finally free to call it home.